There's a miracle in your scribble. I mean, a miracle of a message, a miracle of a release. Let me talk to you about it. Before there was writing, like physical letters, and there were symbols, and before there were symbols, there was scribble. So, what does scribble mean? Scribble means moving energy out of your body through your hands. We used to scribble with our fingers, with sticks, with rocks. We used to just make symbols and we made meaning to those symbols. But before we made meaning to those symbols, our bodies made meaning to those symbols. If that makes sense. Before we made something in our mind up, our bodies knew what to channel through on the ground, on a rock, on paper, or whatever. And scribbles became a way of communicating, and then it formed into shapes and letters. And that's how we communicate today. Think of scribbles as like this sacred download. Yes, download information, messages that are coming to you. It supports the nervous system because it is communication moving through your body, just like emotions. It's a intellect in it's intelligence tapping into yourself. I couldn't say the word, so I'm just going to move on. And it's a way that we can't deny that we receive and that we are antennas and that we download information some way, somehow. People who can't talk, they can communicate through scribble, through drawings, through writings. Because think about it, even art is just scribble, it's just shapes that we make meaning to. That's one of the reasons why personally I love like art that doesn't necessarily have shapes. The aesthetic of now, just because I'm doing this video, I can't remember anything because that's just the way it goes, right? You turn on the camera and then you look at the little thing and you be like, so as soon as I think about what type of art that is, I will say it out loud. But anyway, art that is not symmetrical, God, what is the word? It makes me so mad when I can't remember language when I know I can speak. But anyway, you guys, I love that type of art. The art that where when I look at it, it doesn't say anything. It could be anything that my imagination pulls out of it. And that's the type of art I totally enjoy, even though I do love a landscape painting, especially watercolor. I really love those things. But going back to scribbling, scribbling is like, for me, okay, let me just tell you like today. Today I was in like this long, long, long Zoom call. And so what did I do? I pulled out pen and paper and I started to scribble. And I used this as a way to just release the frustration I had about all the information that was coming through. Not that it was bad information, it just felt like it was redundant information for me because I knew 90% of the stuff that was going on. And so I kind of felt like I didn't need to be in that meeting, but I was invited and I went, and because that's my job. So, with that being said, I had to doodle, I had to scribble some things and just get my emotions out and be able to support myself in nervous system regulation and just embody something different. And so I decided to be creative in that moment because that's what creativity does. It allows you to just process emotions that you're doing. So instead of me feeling frustrated and mad and like, oh my God, I was able to relieve myself. I was able to reveal some type of, cute little mystery thing in here. I think I even wrote something like bright light, light is bright, something. I started to do a little rhyme because, I'm a poet, but most of it was just squiggly lines. And I used red and green, so maybe I'm in a festive mood. Who knows? I was stop and go, I guess. You know what? Now that I look at that, and realized I was in a red a lot because that's the pen that I had in my hand. And then I guess I chose green afterwards because I was releasing. So subconsciously, I needed to get some kind of energy out that was, I'm not going to say negative because red is not necessarily negative. I mean, red is for Valentine's Day, it's for love too. But then I went from a to a flow, flow, flow. And that was an image transmission to me. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm processing that information now. And now I feel like my art of scribble really healed and helped me through that process because now I'm able to process it and talk to you about it. And so that's why I got the thought about scribbling. And another thing is that art is part of, a transformation of healing and a part of therapy. I use art. I have used art and art therapy techniques with my clients in the past, painting, um, making slime. They love that, especially the kids that I work with. And just building different things using textiles with your hands. It's something about using our hands that really brings out the creative version of us humans. And yeah, so that's one of the great things about scribbling. You use your hands, you have an instrument, it doesn't matter what the instrument is, as long as it's able to make a mark. Now, but scribbling is not art itself. It can be art eventually if somebody wants to deem it as art, but it's not art for the sake of art. You don't just scribble and say, yay, this is a $10,000 piece that I'm selling. However, you can sell scribble as a $10,000 piece if you put a story behind it, kind of like similar what I just did with the email and stuff like that. And if it gives a resonance to the viewer, then of course, scribble can be art. But Scribble is, like I said, a frequency. It's an energetic imprint that processes through you. And it's a way of just really regulating your nervous system. It's one of the simplest ways. Doodling, scribbling, all that is in the same. Doodling has more of a picturesque theme where you do smiley faces and stars and moons, so you have shapes in there, whereas scribbling, you just really taking you just going with the flow of whatever your hand is doing, a free will of writing that doesn't make sense, but just allows um, like an energetic movement or a wave to go through your fingers and allow yourself to release. And again, it doesn't have to mean anything at first, but when you look at it and process it, you can find some type of meaning for you that is possible, and it could be release, and it also could be inspiration. I know people who can doodle or scribble. In this point, scribble and actually see images. Like as a psychic or intuitive, they can see some kind of message within that scribble because spirit has moved through them to um, translate, or is it translate or interpret what they've seen. So try this whenever you're in a meeting, or maybe you're even bored at times, or you're distracted, or you just need to release some energy and you can't necessarily get up and walk around. Have a pen, have a paper. I have one in my purse that I always keep because I'm a writer, and I sometimes I have to write different quotes and stuff like that that comes up. But go ahead, and sometimes you just have to scribble, scribble, scribble. Allow your children to scribble as well. This is a side note. Most of us in the crown era, our children are grown. But if someone is watching this video, your children, let them scribble. Don't try to make them or force them to write letters and their names and all of that at first. Let them scribble, 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 tear up the paper, all that good stuff. Just give them the envelopes and the bills and let them freely move out their emotions as much as possible. And just look at it as art for them. Just give them the act of allowing to be who they are and express who they are right in that moment with scribbling. And so I have like a couple of little quotes that came up that could have you think about scribbling a little different, and I just want to read them out for you. The scribble is what comes through when your soul doesn't want to be polite. So what does that mean for me? When it doesn't want to be polite, that means you can be angry in your scribble. You can be sexual in your scribble. You can just really have your soul just be and give it to whoever you want to give it to. And that could be yourself. You can give yourself a big pep talk through Scribble. And another thing, like before language, there was movement, movement of the body. And before clarity in the mind, there was scribble on the ground. And what does that mean? Like I said in the beginning, we come from a long ten thousands of years, hundred thousands of years of communicating through scribble, just helping identify from one component to another. A scribble to one tribe was different to another tribe until, again, different symbols and languages started to mean something. And a lot of times when we unconsciously scribble, that is such a powerful thing that's telling our bodies that we need to move, or we're processing some information subconsciously that's is ready to come up and be in the forefront of our frontal cortex. And also, you never need permission to scribble. Just grab a piece of paper, grab a napkin, a pen, a crayon, a pencil, and just scribble your heart out, because scribbles can create miracles. How so they can create miracles? They can support you in your nervous system. They can give you critical ideas. They can help you flush out information and problem solve. It does a lot. You just have to allow it. And if anything, it could be a cute little art piece that you can talk about later. So that's my message for today. I love you guys so much. If you're still here and you don't know who I am, I'm Coach Hunt. I'm a holistic self love coach where I utilize tools and techniques to support mature women to have the best life ever. And I do that through, like I said, different tools like scribbling and helping emotional regulation and finding goals. And just a side note, when I think about art and manifesting, there's a book called The Art of Manifesting. And even though it's not really scribble, you can scribble within that manifesting if you have intentions to the scribble. That is another way of scribbling. And some people can call it scribing, hint, hint, the holistic part. You can also scribe as again, if you're psychic or you can also interpret something from your scribble. So, you can look at this and you can tell me, what do you see? I'll put what I see in the comments. And go ahead and like, subscribe. If you need some clarity, put it in the comments. I got you. Again, I love you guys so much. It's Coach Hunt. I have your greatest interest at heart. Bye.